So I wanted to make this video because I couldn't find much information about running Apache Guacamole in a Proxmox container. A lot of everything I found online was Docker or compiling from source, but I found a pretty nice script that sets it all up for you. So I just kind of want to walk through the steps, mostly because I myself like to watch videos on things before I do them. So I'm going to create a new container, call it Guacamole. I already have one running in my Proxmox. Let's make a new one here. I did it on Ubuntu 23.04. 10 gigs should be fine, should be plenty. I did 2 cores. You might be able to do less, and I'll do 1 GB of RAM for this. You might want to do more than that, depending on how much you're running. So I do DHCP, and then I manage IP address reservations in my router. Otherwise, you could set up your static IP address however you manage that, but you're going to want it to be static. Okay, task tick. Okay, so it's done. Start a new container. This is the root user and the password we created. You might want to set up, another user with root access. I'm not going to do that for this video, but that's usually good practice. So the install script that I found was from this Mystic Ruin on GitHub. Mentions he's not maintaining it, but it looks like there have been updates recently. So I used it. It's working for me. I haven't had any issues. But you pretty much just follow these steps here. I'll have a link in the description to this, so you can follow along. But yeah, it's pretty simple. So pull down down here how to run. We're going to wget the script. Okay, we need to make it executable. Makes it nice. It puts all the commands in here for you. We're going to run it as root user. And it's going to walk you through. So if this is going to be accessible to the internet, like mine, I have going through Cloudflare to my NGINX proxy, but you might want to do MFA here. It'll walk you through setting it up the first time you log in. I'm going to select no, just for the sake of this. Make this bigger here. Would you like to install Duo configuration? We're going to hit no. It's going to ask you about MySQL. We want to hit yes. Why? Enter root passwords. This is a database password you want to create. And then it's going to create a database user for the new MySQL database. So enter a password for that user. And it's going to start the install. What's nice is it also gets the required libraries. If you look at compiling this from source, you have to install a ton of libraries or make sure they're installed. So this is nice. It does it all for you while that's running. This, I mean, if you can build it from source here right through guacamole.apache.org. I'll put this in the description too. This is another way to do it, but you have to go through and install all these libraries and dependencies. So that's quite a bit. Definitely doable. Script just makes it super easy. Okay, so the install finished. It gives you the local host address, which we're virtualized, so that won't work from our browser. But it also gives you the default login, username, and passwords. Just take a note of that and definitely change it, or disable that user and create a separate user account to actually use the application. So I'm going to pull up the site based on the IP address of this VM. So I put the local IP address of the server, port 8080/guacamole. You can see it comes up, and password I believe is guacadmin. And you're logged in. From here, you go to your settings, users. Personally, I created a new user, or rather, I actually cloned this user with a different username for myself, giving me the administrative permissions that I'll need. And when I was done, you sign out of guacadmin and you log in as the new user you created, and then you can just delete this guacadmin user, or you can change the password and disable it, whatever you prefer. I won't use it, and I made another account with the same permissions, so there's no point in keeping it. If you were to have set up two-factor, which you probably should, which I've done for my production environment, when you get to the first time login screen, you'll be prompted to scan a QR code and add it to your TOTP app, whatever you prefer, and it'll register it for that. There's no additional setup needed for that, which is pretty nice. We've got Apache Guacamole, or Guacamole, installed here at this address. It's the server address, port 8080/guacamole. If we go to just the server address, port 8080, it takes us to this Tomcat welcome page, letting us know that Tomcat was running properly. So for my case, my reverse proxy, I wanted it to point directly to this address when I gave the proxy these parameters. I don't know if there's another way to do this in NGINX proxy, but it just seemed cleaner to me to redirect it through the index page here. So we will need to edit the index file here. It's at var lib tomcat9 webapps and root. And we can see the index.html file there. If we look at that, we should see what's displayed on this page. It works if you're seeing this page. So it works if you're seeing this page. So we know that's the right file. What we're going to do, you can either rename this index file, as a backup. It's usually good practice. I'm going to remove it. So I'm going to remove index.html. It's gone. And then I'm going to create index.jsp. Okay, and the link, I'll have the link in the description. It'll give you a snippet that you can edit as you see fit. But we'll just grab that. I'm going to do it in nano just so it's easier to see. And we'll paste that in here. So this is saying, this is just a JSP redirect, string redirect URL. This is where we're going to put where we want the redirect to take us to. So in this case, we want it to go here. Probably even here would be fine. So I'm going to replace that here. And we're going to do Control O to save, Control X to exit. We look at that index.jsp. We could see the change here. So if we go here, here's our server address, port 8080. And I just refresh the page, and now it directs us to the Guacamole page, which is what we want to happen. So again, I'm going to just put the server address port 8080, and it takes us here. And it's running. So, like I said, from here you can sign in. I'm not going to give a tutorial on how to set up connections, but in here, settings, you can create users, you can create groups, and this is where you set up your connections to the different servers on that you're trying to remote into. The last thing that I had to do with my version of Ubuntu was in the script here at the top, mentions Ubuntu users having issues with RDP have reported the following fix. This did fix it for me. So if you do set up a connection and you get an error that it can't, it was a red box comes up and it says, you know, can't connect or can't connect to the host or something, just run these 3 commands and that should fix it. But I hope that helps. Like I said, I was trying to do this in an LXC container. I didn't see many videos about it. I'm more a visual person. I like to see how things happen, so I hope this helps someone. If there's any other setups you want to see, I'd be happy to make a video about that as well. Thanks.